Here's one of the most shocking things I think about the whole experience we're having going through COVID-19 together is that, the way we're living now, the way we're reacting to, a health crisis, a crisis of some kind, its impact on business, I think that is the new normal. I think we are going to find ourselves in a marketplace that is increasingly going to be defined by a series of crises. Whether, in this case, it's this pandemic, which may yet kind of come back in its own way, or whether it's a function of a natural disaster due to climate change, or whether it's consequences that we can't even imagine today. And that's not to be all doom and gloom, but rather to say, hey, let's be really clear-eyed about the reality we're now kind of leading into. And I think if you want to sort of take away a silver lining or a positive from, this really difficult experience that everyone is going through right now, it's that, the things you're doing right now, the way you're reacting right now, the way you're preparing your business to handle this, the way that you're looking after your employees, the way that you're showing up for others, that's actually a template for how we're going to have to move forward on an ongoing basis. So instead of thinking of this as like some unusual moment in time that's going to come and go, think about it instead as a template or a blueprint for how your brand has to be able to respond. This agility, this rapid response, this first responder mentality that your business has to have, I think we're going to be called on time and time to do that, globally around the world, in terms of what business, does and how it has to show up, what your community does, how first responders and others, do their incredible daily roles, and how you, as a business owner or a business leader or part of a team, has to respond in real time. So what am I saying? I'm saying that if you can kind of step back and take a little bit of perspective on what's going on right now, kind of map out what you're doing. Map out what you did on a leadership level. Map out what you did on an HR level with people. Map out what you did on a marketing level, and whether, you are pivoting to e-com or serving up your products and services in a different way. And really map out how you're showing up to make a meaningful difference in other people's lives, and use that as a template so that it's kind of like, I live in California, and there's always, the threat of an earthquake, and everyone's got their earthquake kit waiting there with their essentials if they need it. In the same way now, your business, your brand, has to have a crisis response plan. Something that you can sort of spin up very quickly to minimize the anxiety that people are feeling, to increase your pace to market in terms of help, to scale your impact as aggressively as possible, and then also to support and protect your business so you come out the other side in the best shape possible. So I'd really encourage everyone to codify what they're doing now and see it just as a simple document, as a crisis response plan in terms of how you're communicating, how you're treating your employees and everyone inside your brand community, and how you're showing up in terms of impact. And, even after, COVID slows down and the tragic loss of death sort of eases off, brainstorm with your team. Sit down with them and go, hey, how could we improve this? What could we do better? How could we show up in a different way that would kind of make you more effective in times of crisis? That way you are going to be better prepared. That way, it's not going to be like a cold reset every time where you're starting from the unknown. And that way you can have the greatest impact that individually and collectively will really make a difference out there. So big tip as we move forward and kind of wrap our heads around what this new normal looks like is to have a crisis response plan in place. And just like you have any other sort of HR systems in place and you have your employee handbook and that sort of thing, build out specific to your business, to your community, to your location, to your industry, what your crisis response plan is.